Bunch of people I like watching play some Smite, and it's St Ambrose versus A&M Maroon. Both teams 1-1 this week, and we have some early kind of just meta bans here with Thor, Athena, Pele, and Chernobog taken away respectively from both sides.
Yeah, globals are really good right now. So the Bog, Athena, Thor off the table. No surprise. Pele, I'm a little surprised. We've seen Pele here and there. I don't think she's as good as she used to be, but still a top jungle pick overall. So I mean, if St. Ambrose, they don't want to deal with that jungle character that could just run the game, not surprised if they just want to get rid of it and get it off the table to begin with.
See, I'm a big Pele believer in the fact that
Okay.
I think she can play all five roles.
Oh.
Yeah. Now,
Oh.
support may be a little rough, right? But like ADC Pele does kind of slap, and
It
it's a good
does.
time.
It's I wouldn't say it's a good time. I'd say it's a mediocre at best time. You kind of can't clear the wave as the Oleron ban tells me that teams are going to lean a little further away from the mage ADCs as well as a Freya off the table completely. And Camazot's first overall. We've seen a bit of a rise in the Camazots as of late, and gonna see that one snatched away, snatched right up for A&M Maroon.
I mean, he's a flex pick. I mean, I like to see him in jungle more than I like seeing him in solo. But I do think that Bat Out of Hell, I mean, really, it can be so disruptive in a team fight that he just gets up in the air and he puts out a lot of damage really quickly. And he's safe. Like, you're like, oh,
Yes.
I'm in trouble. Cool. Let me go up in the air real quick and fly around. Oh, my team reinitiated and someone's low. Oh, I'll risk my life to get the kill. And I like it as a pick. I think it does give you that nice flex potential in that first slot, which always feels good. And it doesn't give too much away about your draft, which is always a big dub.
Right, and I find he's just really good at going in first in the team fight. Like oftentimes you have to rely on your solo and support to be the ones initiating team fights, but Camazot's one of those characters that can kind of go in first, create some space by way of damage, and then go up into that beta hell, like you said, and just be extremely safe. I also think he's a solid pick into the Baba Yaga as well, because she's so sort of safe and tanky, you can afford to stick around her a little longer. So picking it first overall, it is what we see locked in here for the St. Ambrose team. They go with the Sun Wukong and the Baba Yaga in their top two.
Sung Wukong, dominant in the meta. I do find it funny because every time I see him picked first pick, I just go, but Amaterasu exists.
Yeah.
And I'm a big Amaterasu fan, and Amaterasu at the pro level has kind of dominated Wukong.
I'm
But this
a
is not something we see.
I'm a huge believer in the Amaterasu. I love that character right now in the soul lane. But Wukong also pretty solid, so maybe it's just St. Ambrose being like, hey, like this is the one we feel more comfortable with. Let's go with that. As A&M Maroon, they're going to forgo the Alma completely and go for what I assume is a Hades in the Soul lane, followed up by a Soul in the AD carry role.
And we saw the other AD carries that are mages banned away here. Obviously, Chrono's still on the board. Don't think he's super viable right now,
No.
but is on the board. Okay, is available. But you get rid of Oleron, you get rid of Freya, and the next best option is this Soul. Soul does a lot of great things, and a lot of times I tell people the great thing about Soul is you're getting two bastions at 2 minutes tops. I mean, like really, you could run it down that lane, and that's a lot of extra golden pocket early. Curious to see how that dual lane plays out here. And then we have this Hades, not something we see too often. And I agree, most likely should be in the solo lane, but maybe it flexes in somewhere a little fun.
Could be mid, could be jungle. I know Sino used to be a huge Hades jungle believer, but more than likely going to go to that soul lane. And as you mentioned with the soul, yeah, just good early pressure. And so, what does concern me with the A&M Maroon so far is they are very magical heavy, in that their two side lanes are magical based. You're probably going to go for something like a mage in the mid lane. If otherwise, I mean, at this point, you have to go a hunter, right? So, I mean two target bans for St. Ambrose should be Marticaris and I don't know, something. Honestly, it doesn't super matter. I think Marty is just the best mid hunter right now. Maybe the Jingwei. We've seen a lot of that at the pro level. Could potentially be a target ban for St. Ambrose. So I don't know. I think A&M Maroon might have put themselves into a certain play style with their top three, and they might just have to double down on it by going a mage at some point, depending on what St. Ambrose decide to ban away here.
Yeah, I think it does leave you in an interesting place for ADCs. I think there's a lot of flexibility here in what you want to take. I know a lot of people are liking the Jingwei. I wish I liked that pick. I wish I did. There's nothing fun about playing Jingwei
I can't I
currently.
I can't agree with that because I have more than 13 stars on that character.
Oh
So
my god, that's a few. That's a few. But we see a Nemesis band come out of here, and Nemesis isn't a god we've seen a ton of in the jungle. And there's the Marty pick that you wanted to see banned away here. It does what Camazotz does. It flies up and in the air and kind of just stays up there for a while. So not too surprised to see it go away.
yeah, and just arguably, if not the best mid hunter, I think right now in the meta. So seeing that one off the table makes a lot of sense to me. It is a pass ban for
Did
St.
they just skip
Ambrose.
a ban?
They either skipped a
What?
ban or they ran out of time, but it's a Hachi lock in overall. So one
Oof.
character is off, like no longer off the table, as we do see the Nem and the Lance taken away off the table from A&M Maroon. Hachi lock in safe, a strong AD carry in that mid to late game. Struggles a little bit with the wave clear levels 1 through 7, I'd say.
Yeah.
So I think playing for that mid to late game will be the play, as is I think the way that this St Ambrose composition wants to go with so far.
I'm just really surprised to see the Hachi pick here. It is safe. I just don't know. I feel like there's something else that could have fit in with your comp, maybe a little bit differently when you have Ganesh and the Yaga. But I don't hate it. Like you are safe. You get to rush it down with the horse or run away. You do have that part of it that feels really good, along with the attack speed buff. But oh boy, it's an on her and Yamoja for the duo lane. And oh boy, I
On her
have to
mid.
say, on her, I think it might be on her carry.
So soul mid on her carry. You're going with a double ADC style of play, but in
Yeah,
terms of your just soul is in the mid lane. I mean, we have seen some on her mid back in the day. I think back to when uh Dardes used to bring that pick into the mid lane back in season 6. But it will be the on her carry, I believe, as Control Alt Delete is a known carry player.
and the last pick here was Wheelish for the side of St. Ambrose, and I have to feel
Okay.
like that's a pretty nice pick into this team. Riptide knocks people up. You can pull them. On her, jump. Camazotz, jump. I mean, there's a lot of pull potential here, and your team didn't even need to draft knockups.
Yeah, I think the Awilix is a direct response to that Yamoja last pick overall. And just a reminder, Awilix can, I believe, pull Hades out of his dash.
I think
Just
so.
yeah, despite him going under the ground, rather it being a knockup, you could still pull him out of that dash. So I quite like this Awilix pick. Last overall, I think if you are gonna pick Awilix, that's when she needs to be picked because not does struggle a lot with certain draft strategies. I think from on both sides, you need a lot on your team, and the enemy team needs to have a lot of dashes or have a lot of knockups, or self knockups, I guess you could say, by way of the Yemo 3. So I do like when it's been picked. Is it going to be able to hold up against what A&M Maroon have? I think is another story entirely, to be honest.
I have a question for you before we get into this game.
All right, let's hear it.
Do you think everybody's going to cook?
I, you know, I currently play in another league right now, and my jungler always forgets to cook. It's a constant reminder with him. Every single game, the start of every single game, we have to remind him to cook. Be like, Gatto, you gotta cook, man. I think
This is
everyone will cook, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see someone not cook.
I watched someone not cook and then double down and just
Oh,
didn't cook for like the whole game. And it was wild. I'm like, you backed. It's free gold. And it's a free passive if you play.
I mean, it's just an added bonus, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if. I mean, why wouldn't you, right? And if you
Yeah.
forget, you can always back to base when you get your first back to acquire the recipe that you need.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. It feels good when you have it, feels bad when you don't, and then you get reminded, either by us as casters or by your teammates. Whichever happens, it's the way of the road. But we're gonna head into here to game number 1 of A&M Maroon versus St Ambrose. SB, who you picking?
I mean, personally, I'm gonna go with A&M Maroon. I like the double ADC so far. As actually, we are currently in game, and as you mentioned, two people are not cooking.
Yeah,
Super Death Fang and Freezing Fantasy are not cooking, and that's a tough one. right there.
And I'd imagine, like, Bountiful feels pretty good on either of those characters. Gooseberries feels really good on Soul. I mean, it's not like you don't want to cook. I
Yeah,
just
I
a little
I
surprised.
I do have some slight concerns now that this pressure that Soul usually has, and it's been an added bonus with the gooseberries of like, hey, I'm Soul, I automatically have pressure by way of my passive and my heated auto attacks doing a ton of damage. But now with not only the gooseberries, but this build that Freezing Fantasy is going for, it's going to be a Book of Thoth first item. So he's going for that more ability based build. He could still go a bow if he wants to instead.
Yeah, I always find this interesting when we see the souls picked up and they decide to go arrow. I know a lot of people are a fan of that this straight ADC build style, but I think when you build Book of Toth, I almost like to see you going Sands of Time, just getting the extra cooldown MP5 and really kind of having that ability to be an ability mage, and then you pick up a ring or two. I think it feels really, really nice. We'll have to see how this pans out here, not having cooked and then going that route. I mean, the good thing is the extra gold you're gonna get is gonna feel good on the soul.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think Ornate is, or sorry, Gilded Arrow at this stage, not Ornate just yet, and hopefully he doesn't build Ornate. That would be a crippling mistake for freezing.
Oh,
As we,
nice blink. Better beats by Super Death Fang here. Are they going to get away? Rushology not able to pick up the first blood there. Really nice pre-beads there by the Hades just to make sure you're able to get out. I think that's a nice little play. Things we
r-
like to see.
Agreed, but I do think that is a better look for St Ambrose. I mean, that's all they need there. They get the early beads. I mean, this Rashology is not going anywhere anytime soon. He's on the Wheelix. He can rotate back to the solo lane in a jiffy. Especially once he hits level 5, he's going to look for this Hades nice and early. And now that that beads is down, Super Deathfang has to play super safe in this lane, I think.
I agree. I think this could be detrimental to the early game for that Hades. We'll have to see what happens. But if I'm Rushology, as soon as I hit level 5, I'm coming back. It's not even a question. Like I'm not looking at mid. I'm not looking at duo. I'm running back over and trying to keep that Hades down a bit.
Well, I hate to say it, he's already back on this right hand side. He's not even level 5 yet, and he's looking on the right.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to do a nice little 2v2 over there. It won't be anything too crazy. A little scuffle and a walk away is the plan there. But now it's going to be a purple buff invade here by Maroon. But it's going to be a 3v2 as Chubby Ostrich has made the rotation over and says, nah, we're not going to let that happen. Sorry.
Yeah, St. Ambrose here to defend their purple buff, as they should be. I think St. Ambrose, they need to get off to this sort of decent early game start. I think they have the better mid game. Once they start getting an item or two, I think they'll really start to be able to team fight. A&M, they have the early pressure and the on her and the soul just by way of like their early clear and their early fight potentials. So I wouldn't be surprised if once St. Ambrose start to get some items online, probably the second item spike, that they'll start to take and maybe win these fights off of that.
Yeah, I am going to curious to see how early objectives and early pressure works here for Maroon. You have these double ADCs that should open up at least some early pulls of or looks at Gold Fury and Pyro. But we do see Rushology making the way over to Duo, deciding to camp that wall. There's nobody there, bud. They trying to play some hide and go seek, and no one's looking to be sought. Gonna go ahead and just confirm their purple buff. Nice little play there by Maroon, and they had him on a ward even better. So they knew what was coming.
Rush is 5 and not looking for the Hades who doesn't have beads for another 20 seconds. I'm a little surprised there that Rush doesn't just make the repeat gank onto the Hades, especially when Zamia has already backed, TP'd back in with that Genji's guard. But now Super Deathfang's back to base. He's got the Book of Thoth online. He's just going to look to be stacking in this right-hand side. His beads come up in 6 seconds. He's going to be A-okay on this right-hand side, I think.
You know what I appreciate?
What's
That
that?
that Freezing Fantasy and Super Death Thing both backed. Oh wait, Wave comes over, puts out some damage on a Chubby Ostrich. They both backed. They both bought Book of Toth.
Yeah.
And they both didn't cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no one's
Almost-
noticed yet. No one's hit tab
No.
and taken a look at who has what. I will say, and one thing we haven't mentioned, it's 5 beads for A&M Maroon. I just noticed
Yeah.
that. There's no shell, there's no sprint, there's no teleport. 5 beads, as Zammy is in trouble here.
Yeah. And now there's the beads on a Wavy, and Super Death Thing used the ult there, so now it's a beads that's gonna have to be used if it wants to not get the inked here. Wavy getting that bat out of hell. That's what we were talking about earlier, being able to get up into the sky and just be like, okay, cool, I'm going to walk away now. But they got lucky. Illicit Sleet was on the way over, and I'm sure some Dharmic Pillars got dropped. It was going to go sideways for A&M Maroon. But now, over on the duo side, it's Chubby Otters making a rotation, looking to try to fight a 1v2 for the time being against Freezing Fantasy and Ferendum. Control-Alt-Delete makes the rotation over. They are going to steal this purple buff away, and there is nothing that St Ambrose can do about it.
On the right-hand side, it was an attempted invade on the blue buff for St Ambrose, but they weren't able to find it. Super Deathfang finds his own blue buff, and now it's a green buff invade as well for A&M Maroon. They're just going to get so much farm on this left-hand side rewarded to them, and they're able to defend their right-hand side buffs as well. So much farm goes the way of A&M Maroon here.
I mean, you're talking about 1,300 gold or so in the favor of Maroon right now, and all that's happened is they've been able to invade camps.
Yeah. It's just been the neutral farm mostly, and then, yeah, invading the camps has been huge, and then it just comes down to this early pressure, to be honest. They just have so much early pressure in terms of the mid ADC. Solo, I think, is their weak side. Arguably, the Hades doesn't, he doesn't have great pressure. Mid to late, he can kind of one-shot someone. But right now, he's just a Hades. He's just going to focus on getting those stacks for now. But this On Her has kill potential onto just about anyone on the map right now.
Look to take the 1v1 there. Control-Delete using those dual tactics. Must have been playing a lot of On Her lately, you know what I mean? Able to step up to an Awelish for free there. Kind of crazy. At level 7, now level 8. Usually you step up to an Awelish that are on that level, and it doesn't necessarily go well for you as an ADC, especially when you want to use a leap and they just pull you back.
Yeah.
But they must know something I don't.
You don't want the Awelix on your side of the map, for sure, if you're an ADC. You kind of just want to avoid the... And that goes for any assassin, really. You kind of want to be playing away from the assassin as much as humanly possible, because those characters are designed to kill you. If it's not the assassins killing you, it's the tanky OP frontliners.
Yeah, it's one way or the other, but I just think if an Awelish is running at me, I'm going to be like, yeah, okay, you have fun. See you later, bud. And look at Russia's going to get active over on the solo side here again. Looking towards that Hades, trying to corner camp that wall. Zamia not letting Super Deathfang step up, but Wavy has made the rotation over, catches Rosology out. There's the pull back, and there's not a lot of mana left for Rosology. The Bat Out of Hell is here. Wavy trying to get away, and they're not going to be able to catch the Camazotz. Just so much space created. But now it's a 3v1, and I don't even know if Super Deathfang knows the trouble that's brewing over by the blue buff. It's going to get invaded. And Illicit Sleet decides to leave from behind the tier 1 tower. I was waiting for a Dharmic Pillars to come out behind and then a jump over the wall, but they decide not to commit to that bit, and it'll be a purple buff invade again by Control-Alt-Eat, just not allowing Ojaman to be able to get any type of buff in the past 2 rotations.
Yeah, Ojaman, he's starting to fall behind here. It's just been a free reign for Control-Alt-Eat on this left-hand side jungle for St Ambrose's jungle, and now Ferendum is going to get a back camp invade as well. That's just more golden experience taken away from St Ambrose. This left-hand side is starting to get a little out of control. It's a 2-level lead for Control-Alt-Eat, and soon this could transfer over to potential Gold Furies if St Ambrose don't start to balance out this left-hand side, I think.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about the left-hand side of the map. It's getting a little bit scary, and especially when you have an On Her that's scaling fast, level 10 at 9 minutes. That first fight over the Stygian Beacon, if it's to happen, could be catastrophic for St Ambrose here. But we'll have to see if that's into what happened. Rushology picking up the first blood from behind the tier 1 tower onto the solo laner of Maroon, and that's a great pickup here for St Ambrose. There is fighting happening in the mid lane. Meanwhile, Rushology versus Wavy happening in the jungle. Who will come out victorious here? Wavy not able to go in. Sees Zamia around the corner, says, nah, I'm good. Walks away. Nice little ward coverage there by St Ambrose, though. And now it's Wavy making a rotation back over to mid. There's not going to be much to find. 2 minutes towards the beacon spawning, or as I like to say, the bacon being cooked.
Why is it the bacon, and why is it... Wait, what? Wait, why is the bacon being... Okay. Well, the beacon is spawning in 2 minutes. But, I mean, that's a great look for Rushology. He has not let up on this right-hand side. He has looked consistently for Super Death Fang is. It's a 3-man, 4-man rotation here on this left-hand side.
Yeah, there's the Dharmic Pillars. They're trying to get Control at Delete, but Control at Delete hits the Impale, just playing absolutely out of his mind there to be able to walk away along with Ferindum. But meanwhile, Wavy hovering around the corner at the purple buff, making sure they confirm it, but also making sure you can't step up any further.
Oh, Freezing. Freezing just
Really
gets mid
nice
for free
play
here. Soul,
Yeah.
just Soul things in the mid lane. He's going to get the first tower of the game 10 minutes in. Just Soul things. And that's the thing about Soul mid specifically versus, I think, ADC is if people are rotating the side lanes and you just stick around in mid, you're just going to be able to take those towers every single time.
Yeah, I mean, this is the nice thing about Soul is that free pressure. And now Freezing's is going over to the blue buff and invading across the map, knowing that everybody's over in the left side for St Ambrose. And this just opens up a nice little farming spree for the Soul, getting that nice global gold for your team with that tier 1 tower. And we're 45 seconds and less away from the beacon spawning now. And I think we might get a nice little 4v4, maybe 5v5 fight here.
Yeah, I mean, could happen. I mean, the rotation from St Ambrose, you know, they've kind of lost their left-hand side jungle quite a bit. It's not going to be the beacon play at all. It's actually going to be a Gold Fury pull here for A&M Maroon. And there is no response from St Ambrose. There is nothing they can do to defend this.
No, I mean, I don't think they even have a ward over there. I don't even know if they know it's happening. Gold Fury goes the way of Maroon. And now beacon spawning 10 seconds away. If they had that much pressure there, you have to think they're willing to fight and have as much pressure over at that beacon as well. Right now, it's just Freezing over there. Freezing's under fire here. Oh, that might have been a drop there by Illicit Sleet. Had the Dharmic Pillars didn't throw it out early, and I think they could have taken out the Soul there now. Here comes the lifesteal, and Chaos just gets the beacon for free. St. Ambrose walk away with that like it was nothing.
Yeah, but A&M Maroon, they got the Gold Fury, which I think is worth a little more at this stage in the game. They're the ones that are trying to push themselves forward by way of experience and gold, and I think Gold Fury at this stage is a little nicer look as Control Alt Delete is here, but I don't think a major fight will break out just yet.
No, I don't think Maroon wants to pull a 2v3, what will become a 4 very quickly if they decide to push up there. But right now, Super Death Fang now has the level lead over in solo, fighting pretty well against Zamia. But on the left side, you have a 2v1 against the Hachiman, and your Ojaman just not having a fun time over there. Already lost the tier 1 tower. And right now, it's Maroon just putting pressure on the objectives. The towers are falling.
Yeah, they're just able to pressure out in mid and left as Zamia could be in a bit of trouble here on this right. Actually, no, it's Rushology who's in trouble.
Oh my goodness, that was a good ult by Super Death Fang. Ends up falling to the tower damage. Metrology is going to be the next one on the list, though. And now it's Freezing, chasing down Zamia. Can you finish off the kill onto the Wukong that no longer has an ult? So far, the answer is no. Oh my goodness, the chunk down there as Illicit Sleet is on the rotation over, looking to try to put pressure onto the Soul, and it doesn't matter. The Freezing just doesn't care, just starts auto-attacking the tower and baits Illicit into stepping forward there. I'm not sure they knew Wavy was still there, but it is low health bars on the side of St. Ambrose, and it's going to be a free tier 1 tower for Maroon here. And that was a 1-for-1 trade up until that point.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised that they get Super Death Fang and Rushology lives for that little bit of extra time. I thought it was coffins for Rushology and Zamia, honestly, the way they kind of got pulled in there by the Hades ultimate. But I mean, they managed to get another good kill onto Super Death Fang, who is started to get a little out of control on this Hades, but shut down yet again, and so he won't be farming for a hot minute. But the tower does go the way for A&M Maroon, so despite being a 1-for-1, it's A&M Maroon who come up again with another objective.
I mean, now we're seeing this XP and gold lead kind of spiral a little bit. Gold, you know, at almost 6,000 gold at 14 minutes.
There's been 3 kills.
Yeah, and there's been 3 kills. I mean, like, where is it coming from? It's just objectives and towers. They right now, there's Bastion still in mid and in duo for Maroon.
Ojamin has a full Devos, a tier 2 Executioner. Meanwhile, Control Alt Delete has a full Dominance and an Executioner. Like, the gold lead is pretty absurd as Death Fang gets pulled in here. Could be in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I think Rushology and Zami are going to run this down. They don't care about the ultimate.
Oh,
They're
maybe
going to
not.
put him down and send him to the gray screen. Oh my god, no way! Super Deathwing turns it around on Rushology. I changed my mind. I cast her, cursed that man. Oh my god, Zamia flies away. Holy.
I mean, what more is there to say as Illicit Sleep will also fall caught out in the jungle, and 15 minutes in, this should be a Fire Giant pull with 2 members dead and Zamia having to back to base. All 5 are here. I mean, there's nothing really St Ambrose can do here. They're going to have to just spread out on the map and really focusing on farming, I think, right now. A&M Maroon, they're making this look really easy, to be honest.
Yeah, they're playing kind of out of their minds right now. Ojaman got a Bastion, looking for more over in the duo lane. And I have to see, does he commit? No, Ojaman decides to back and not get the second Bastion and put pressure on the tower. Just worried about the rotation that could happen and would have happened. And now it's going to be a free Gold Fury here for Maroon as well from the looks of it.
I mean, I think the only thing you could do right now, and Rushology is on the way. We saw Deathfang beads in that pretty early on last time around. He's going to look to gank Super Deathfang yet again, see if they can secure the kill this time around.
I mean, I look, it has to fall sooner or later. There's the ult. Surely he dies this time. Okay, he does. I was like, if this man turns it around again and deletes Rushology, I have a lot of questions heading into game number 2 when I'm talking about picks and bans in this Hades.
I'm actually surprised at St. Ambrose, despite getting that pick, that they don't group to defend this tier 2 and left. They're going to keep split pushing and focus on trading. But I mean, you get that kill, and I mean, Deathfang, he's got what, 4 items right now? He's a big part of A&M Maroon's lead, despite the experience leads on the rest of the map. He's got a huge gold lead for himself. The rest of A&M Maroon have not backed yet. Right now might be your best opportunity to fight as 5 into the 5v4. And this is what Zamia wants to do, but Rushology, he's off split pushing right now, focusing on getting that farm onto himself, but I'm not sure how much further ahead you're really going to get. Oh.
Control, delete, hello? Is this a bait? Like, I'm so confused. Just standing up there, back at the speed. There's the beads, ages to walk away, and the rest of the team is now running it down, trying to make their way back up. Illicit Sleep just under absolute duress here. Pops the Dharmic Pillars, but it's not going to matter. Dies before the rivers come crashing down, and the tier 2 tower now being looked at here from Maroon. They're going to try to poke away, but St. Ambrose, there's nothing they can do. This is going to be devastating. They're going to push a Phoenix here, and they might be able to get it. It's a 5v4 for the time being, and still, there's a lot of gold in hand for Maroon.
Yeah, they haven't backed yet, so this might be a little too risky as Control has no relics, get pulled back in. Still alive, but Chubby Ostrich will find that one.
Firing down, finally comes crashing down, taken away. There's the blinking by Rushology Zamia. They're looking for Super Deathfang. There's the beads, there's the ultimate. It's not going to be enough. Ojaman on the board with the Hachiman, and bite off a little bit more you could chew there was Maroon. They will get to back, and they will get to spend some of that gold. Freezing Fantasy doesn't plan to let go of this tier 1 tower. It says you guys can go for Pyromancer if you want, but I'm going to keep this tier 1 up and head over to Beacon.
Yeah, Beacon's still available. Both teams, probably St. Ambrose should elect to look for this. I mean, they're pretty far behind as is. They kind of need to get whatever neutral farm they can get right now, and including the mid-tier 1 tower, which I'm surprised they kind of don't go for. At least the Bastions at the very least, but maybe just worried about another potential fight, which could very well break out right now, even though Deathfang is not here even.
Yeah, I mean, this is 3v5 right now. You're still waiting for Control, Delete, and Super Deathfang to make the rotation in. There's the Riptide. The Dharmic Pillars are there, too.
Okay.
The Rushology comes up with a kill. This is huge for St. Ambrose, but meanwhile, the rest of the team is still heading in for Maroon. Wavy puts down Illicit Sleep.
Oh, the pull.
Looking for more. Rushology gets an insane pull back in. The beads, goodbye Wavy, to continue getting away, but now it has to be very careful here for St. Ambrose. They need to back away as Control, Alt, Delete, and Super Deathfang have arrived. And Oni Fury is spawning soon. Not going to be surprised to see them head that way, but it's going to be a 2v2 split left and right as Control Delete decides to go ahead and back and finish off more of that build. Really just waiting to upgrade the starter item at this point, which I'm assuming is going to be Leader's Cow.
Oh, it should absolutely be Leader's Cow. I think that item is stupid good right now, and the way you're playing as your team, you have the Soul alongside you, the Leader's Cowl is going to go hard, and just the way that this composition works around Leader's Cowl, about burning objectives and having that extra power through that passive. I think pretty dang good at taking objectives as well as team fighting around this on her.
Yeah, Leader's Cal is the better Cal. There
Agreed.
is no way I'm being convinced that attack speed is better, because it's better for the ADC, and that's about it. Yeah, you have 2 mage ADCs, but still giving power to your whole entire team comp just feels good. Oni Fury is being pulled here right in front of Illicit Sleet's face. So they do have to worry a little bit about Dharmic Pillars coming up. But look at the rotation here by St Ambrose. They're coming around the right side. Might get a little bit of a flank going as they're wanting to get that vision on the Oni Fury.
I mean, I think they're
aware that they got it, but then they just backed off.
I think they could defend this here as pull back in on a Friendum.
This is huge for them. They're trying to get the emoji. The Rivers are crashing back down. Just gave them a little bit of time here. Zamia comes in with nice knockouts, but Chubby Ostrich is in trouble. Control, delete, hit the delete button instead this time. And now Illicit Sleep's in trouble, falls down to Freezing Fantasy. So far, 2 for nothing. Super Death Fang,
Rush.
super duper low. And might be able to get away here. Zamia trying to chase him down and take him off the board. OG Man gone. And that is 3 for 1.
That's
now
2
in favor of A&M Maroon for now. Wavy is the next one down. 3 for 3, and that was great for St. Ambrose here to turn that around after being down a couple early on in that fight.
I mean, the fact that they're even able to compete right now in this game is pretty absurd. I mean, they were down 7K gold lead as they're still looking for more. Soul only has that beads available to her. And Zamia and Rush, they are hunting here.
They do have to be a little bit careful. They just need to make sure
Good stun.
Rushology doesn't catch out by the CC here, and there it is. Great damage off. Oh, and there's the immunity they're waiting for it to be popped, and Freezing Fantasy is in so much trouble, but is able to pick up Rushology.
Oh,
and
no.
now is able to turn it around. Zamia has to run away. What a play there by Freezing Fantasy on the Soul. What looked like an absolute death gets turned around for a kill.
No anti-heal. No anti-heal against this Yamoja and Soul, who are just have so much healing in their kit, and then the items that the Freezing Fantasy has built on the Soul, the Bancroft's Talon, the Typhon's Fang, and the Polynomicon, just so much in-kit healing on this Soul. It's going to be really hard to knock her down, I think, if you don't have any anti-heal.
And Maroon are just going to go ahead and pull another FG, and they have Soul tanking it, which is wild.
They can do that.
Oh, 100%.
She's fine, you know? She uses the 3, and you got Control now tanking it, but I mean, they're just gonna be able to zone, and Zamia's kind of here. He might look.
Yeah, he's looking to try to get a steal, isn't able to do it, and now the good thing is Zamia can get up in the air, you can fly away, not in too much trouble here. Ambrose just has to walk away yet again. Zamia's clone just running it down, you know? We love Wukong clone.
I mean, that's my favorite part of Wukong clone, is he's just gonna run it down. I just send a spawn of myself to run it down, which is a dream come true, to be honest. Going back to that fight real quick, Zamia, I mean, he puts in so much work for St. Ambrose. He makes a lot happen. He gets those 2 kills, and then Rush is able to clean up the 3rd. I mean, just by way of this Wukong creating so much space, he buys his team a lot of time. Very unfortunate that St. Ambrose's backline dies as early as it does. It kind of gets caught in that weird and awkward scenario, but I mean, Zamia, he buys a lot of time. Rush is able to clean up 1, so they keep the game somewhat even at that moment, but A&M Maroon, they get the Fire Giant here. Not EFG, so it's not a game-ending potential just yet, I don't think, unless they wipe them here, obviously.
No, I think we still have some time here. I mean, that's the second Fire Giant at 23, 24 minutes, which is kind of insane.
I mean, the first one was at 15, so.
Yeah, this gives them a nice bit of room here, as long as they have a nice defense with this, you know, Baba Yaga, Ganesha, gets you nice space control, and then you can pick a target and delete them between Rushology and Zamia. It's just a fact of getting someone that steps out of the way.
18 seconds on Freezing Fantasy's beads, and I think that's kind of what A&M Maroon are waiting for right now. They're waiting to see if someone steps up. They're going to get this 3rd beacon of the game, which should be the Titan spawn, I believe. Yes, it should be at this stage in the game. So they're just waiting for that Titan
push. You think they should grab it?
I think so.
You think they should?
I think so, because if you wipe people here, you can end the game off of it.
But you can't, because the Titan's going to marching down the lane.
Oh, it's going to march down the right lane too, which is not the lane that you want it in, honestly. You want it here on this left-hand side, but also could create alternate pressure on this right-hand side. So yeah, maybe a bit of a mistake there by A&M Maroon. Maybe they just kind of siege here, see what they can get, and then go to the right-hand side to, or sorry, to towards that Titan beacon area, and then get the beacon, get the Titans on the map, and then push down on this right anyways with Titans. So it's possible.
Oh, the fight has started. Ferendum gets active early here and got 3 members in there, and a Super Death Thing comes in. Ults, the bird's gone.
Wow.
And meanwhile, so is Illicit Sleet and Zamia. Oh my goodness, they go in, they get 2 immediately, and now the birds are going to come crashing down here as Maroon walks into the mid Phoenix. It's gone. And I imagine they head right over to right lane, and I don't know if they go straight for a Phoenix. They might just go for the Titan instead. And it looks like that's going to be the call here by Freezing Fantasy and Control-Alt-E. They don't want to cut it off in between the Phoenix and Tier 2. They want to wait a minute. Definitely a wise decision. Rosology, Chubby Ostrich are stepping up here. It looks like Freezing Fantasy and Control-Alt-E might try to play a little bit of a game of standing around the wall and see if anybody steps up. Mess around and find out might be the approach here.
I mean, you still have Fire Giant for a hot minute here. You can definitely push this right-hand side down. Now that the mid and left-hand side Phoenixes are gone for St Ambrose, I think A&M Maroon, they're going to push with this Titan down on the right here. Look to force the 3rd Phoenix. See if they can get it here.
Yeah, this gives them a lot of pressure. You know, you're lucky for St Ambrose that now all members are up. But now you have a Titan with Maroon marching it down. And this is devastating. I mean, yeah, there's still Fire Giant. That will be coming off in the nearest future. But I think you're going to lose a 3rd bird here.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's much St. Ambrose can do here. I mean, ultimates are coming back up for A&M Maroon, and they used no relics on that fight. Just the blink, as here's the engagement here.
Yeah, there's the Dharmic Pillars to try to hold off the engagement onto the Phoenix, but a better ult by Ferendum to keep his ADC alive for the time being. Control-E ate half the health bar there, but that's 3 ults expended, and you didn't get... You defended the bird, but you weren't able to get much else off of it.
That was a great ult by Chubby, just laying in the damage there. I mean, first of all, it's a great ult by Illicit with the cage to force people to kind of be like,
yeah,
hey, we kind of can't really stand here. Let's start using our jumps. Let's start running away. Chubby Ostrich then steps up into the Yemo ult, knowing that people are kind of playing further back. And then so he buys space with his ultimate, and that allows Ojamin that entire time to really just focus down that Titan, which is what he needed to do in that instance. And so they keep the right-hand bird alive. I mean, it's 1 HP, really. So you can kind of walk up if you're A&M if you want to, but honestly, I think you're just going to look for this Fire Giant here any second now.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just take fire. There's no reason for them not to.
Won't be EFG, though.
No, it's going to be 28 minutes in. But, I mean, do you really want to wait for EFG and give them a chance to walk up? You have so much pressure right now.
Yeah.
You might as well just take it.
Yeah, I don't think it's a must. I will say, like, A&M Maroon, despite that last engagement looking so good for St. Ambrose, it's really just the Aegis down for Control-Alt-Eat. Every other relic is available for A&M Maroon, so this right-hand bird, it might be a lot easier to take than the last time around.
Yeah, I mean, it's low, but they go with the same strategy. You know, let's just see, drops the Dharmic Pillars, then you have the Home Sweet Home raining through, but this time doesn't connect the damage they were hoping for.
Yep.
As it was just freezing that was caught out there in that Dharmic Pillars, but now Maroon's like, cool, the 2 space control ults we were worried about are down. We should be able to take this bird now.
Ooh.
There it is. There's the dash in, but Rosology catches out. Oh my goodness, Ferendum just gets absolutely shredded, but Super Death Fang is meanwhile back there getting a huge ultimate, pulling 3 members of St. Ambrose in, and now the Phoenix is gone. 3 birds down, fire minions are on the way in, and Maroon is looking to be active in this tight room if possible. Control-E jumps in, can't confirm too much damage, but they're hoping to find something. The bird is spawning on the left-hand side.
If I ever see an ADC jump in like that, all on his own, you can bet your ass he's dead. He's dying. There's no world where that should be allowed.
Absolutely. We do have the bird up here, and this is going to be a nice little play by Maroon. They can wait it out. They can step in. It's going to be 3 autos. 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay, sorry, 4. I wasn't expecting Ferendum to get an auto in there. Mid bird. It's back up. I don't expect it to live long. I think the fight will ensue
Yeah,
soon.
I think St. Ambrose, they probably take the fight here. The
They
way they
have
did
to.
last time. I mean, you probably just drop the Dharmic Pillars and then just start spamming your cooldowns into whatever's in that cage at that point. I mean, you got Chubby Ostrich's ult back up. Oh, Jammin's ult is coming up any second now. And they got to go for this play here.
Oh, there's the blink in by Wavy. Gets the distraction. The bird's gone. So now
Oh,
it's
here we
up
go.
Super Deathfang just stands on the edge of that Dark Pillars and just eats a ton of damage. Oh, Rushology's now in trouble. Thanks for dude. OG Man is able to pick up Wavy, but now Maroon have to walk away here. They're getting chased down though. St Ambrose
fat
trying to
ult.
keep them in combat. This is fantastic by OG Man, but he gets turned around by freezing, and they just shred away on the soul. Picks up 2 before the death. OG Man's gonna fall on the backside. Ferindum and Super Death are still alive here. And now Russology and Ostrich are going to be the ones to defend as fire minions are pouring into the base.
Yeah, but you get 3 important kills, I think, 3 shutdowns, which needed to happen at this point. I mean, it's very hard for St. Ambrose to really come back in this game, but I mean, those are the things that need to happen. You need to be getting more than 2 kills, like 2 to 3 kills is really nice for them there. If they got another one, I think they could have maybe stalled the game out even longer. It's very hard for them to play through this game being down 3 members now, because those are 3 members who need to be finishing off their builds. Illicit Sleet still needs 2 items, and Jammin needs that 6th item in, so he's not getting that oh so important farm right now. Thankfully, Chubby Ostrich is, and he's been doing immaculate work at keeping St. Ambrose in this game just by way of those ultimates, just pumping out the damage. And it was a massive ult by Jammin. Beads down on control alt eat. He mounted archeries in, slows everyone in range at that moment to allow the rest of his team to really surge forward and look for the rest of those members there. They get 3, they stall the game, but they're still down 3 birds.
Can we talk about Ferindum for a second?
What do you want to talk about?
0 and 12.
Yeah.
On the Emoja.
He's a support.
Just the impeccable support play. Okay, guy has the perfect support stat line.
His carries have died more times than him. Does that really make him a good support then? If his carries have died more times than him?
I mean, I watched Control dive into the enemy base and didn't get killed. And
that's fair.
What's Ferindum supposed to do about that? Hope a Riptide connects and pulls him back. You know what I mean?
That's a very valid reasoning, and I accept these terms and conditions.
Oh, heading into the next fight here in mid. Super Deathfang getting active early, goes on Illicit Sleet, and they baited Chubby to step up a little bit too far, possibly.
Oh, he's dead.
Maybe going in. Oh, waiting for the Aegis to finish. Nice ult, saves the life for now, but that's a lot of Relic and ult usage used there to save the life of Chubby Ostrich. The right bird spawns, the right bird should fall, and it will in about 2 seconds from the looks of it. They decide to attack it rather than somebody else. And now Maroon is backing up. They might go for an enhanced fire here. I don't think they have to, but that looks like they're going to do. St. Ambrose are running it down. There's fire minions in their base.
Yeah, this might be a mistake from St. Ambrose. Their Titan's under attack. They have to send someone back. They still haven't. They're holding on. They're
no one's backing.
Yeah, they're going to lose the game here in a second. Rush finally sees it, and so does Jammin. Jammin's going to back to base. But I feel like you need Jammin here for this fight.
Yeah, you do, but like, there was 2 fire waves in your base. The Titan has 0 health. The Titan has nothing. If it gets looked at funny, it's going to die. Meanwhile, the fight breaks out, and there comes the Supernova. Oh my goodness, Freezy just go absolutely insane with Wavy there as Ferindum blocked off the way out for St. Ambrose. And now A&M Maroon are running towards the Titan room. The Titan has no health. Freezing Fantasy says, we don't need more kills. I'm going to put this down, and takes the Titan out.
Well, it's A&M who have the early lead and are able to convert it to a victory at the end of the day. Probably not the way they would have drawn it up or would have liked it to have happened with how good of an early game they had, but they get the W in the end. St. Ambrose, they find some small victories in there for sure. I mean, Chubby Ostrich on this Yaga did good work. Rush able to find some good kills. Zamia did fantastic work on this Sun Wukong. But I think at this point, you're back to the drawing board a little bit. I think you take some of these God picks away from A&M going into game number 2, because they were able to kind of make that look a little too easy for them.
I have some things we have to talk about, because this is my shtick, okay?
All right, let me hear it.
We just watched like a 38-minute game, roughly. And Super Deathfang has 2 wards.
Yeah.
Ojaman has 3.
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
I mean, Ojaman had no gold that game, to be
I
fair.
mean, true. But like
Super Death Fang, I agree, though. I mean, that's
I,
just a Super Death Fang special. Man does not buy wards ever.
here's my thing. If I get to the end of game 1, right? And I see how many wards are placed, I look at my jungler, I'm like, "Yo, you know who to gank next game." Okay?
That's
You know
true.
who
That's
because
true.
they don't have vision of what's going on.
I mean, wards win games, so surely if Ojaman warded more, they would have won, right?
Maybe, I don't know. There was a lot of early pressure put out there by Maroon. I
There
just
was,
have
there
to
was.
always I have to point out the wards cuz I find it mind-boggling sometimes how few there can be. But we're not in the realm of having a free spirit shard ward every time, you know? You can get something else.
Yeah, I mean, I personally big fan of the wing shards, big fan of the horn shards, maybe some claw shards. I don't know. I personally think the horn and the wing are the two best ones.
I
But
agree, I agree.
I mean,
But
early vision wasn't, I think, their only issue. I think the pressure was really what got to them. The way they played in the jungle. I mean, they just kind of gave up a lot. And whenever A&M would rotate to a side, it just so happened that Ambrose were always on the opposite side of the map from them.
yeah, I really think Maroon came out with a pretty solid plan of how they wanted to get early pressure with this double ADC comp. And I think it might have thrown off St. Ambrosius a smidge here. We'll have to see how they come back in game number 2 with picks and bans. But before we head there, let's throw it over to a quick break. Welcome back, everybody, and we're heading into game number two. This time, St. Ambrose will be picking first, and A&M Maroon will be picking second. SB, do you think there's going to be an advantage for St. Ambrose having this first pick slot now?
I think it's better. I don't think it's a huge advantage personally. I think first pick is the better of the two, but I don't think it's an absurdly massive advantage that St. Ambrose can just suddenly win the game off of first pick. I mean, it depends on what they're able to first pick. If they first pick something like Freya and they can lock in a Turtlebog as well in the next two, I think their chances of success are great. However, both of those are off the table. And so now we have to think of what else they could potentially first pick. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe it's something like a Kamazotz or a Baba Yaga if Kamazotz is banned away, which it is. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Chubby go back to the Baba Yaga, honestly.
What about a Raijin? How are you feeling about Raijin as a late? I think that could be a fun time.
Yeah, I mean, I think Raishin did go through the last draft, if I'm not mistaken. He
It
wasn't
did.
banned. He wasn't banned top three. I don't hate the Raishin. I don't love Raijin either, though. I don't hate him, but I don't love him. I think he has his place where he's so good he can out pressure just about any mid laner. He has really good 1v1 potential against most mages. But when he goes up into his ultimate, he's really easy to dive. It's really easy to
Yep.
dive on top of him. His dash is very susceptible to getting canceled. I think he has some huge like advantages, but also some very huge disadvantages as well that you have to be aware of. So things like the Baba Yaga, the Nuwa, personally, I'm a big fan of right now. I think those are the better options compared to the Raijin right now.
See that? I can see that. I'd love to see a new one. I'm always a fan of seeing that come back. Now we've seen some buffs head that way. But the bans are pretty much the same, minus the Kamazots being banned this time around by A&M. So it's a Wukong picked up again by Zamia.
Okay. Wukong first overall for Zamia. Oleron is also still available. He was banned last time around. He was banned away by A&M Maroon. So they let that one through this time around, not letting the Kamazots go their way. And it's another soul lock in. I mean, Freezing Fantasy, he's just probably going to run this back in the mid lane. Just free, easy pressure for him most of this game. In the mid lane, yet again.
Yeah, and this is the nice thing about picking up Soul is you can see some parts of their draft and be like, okay, well, I like this better in ADC. We pick up a different mage now, or maybe we go physical in the mid lane. It does give them a little bit of options of how they want to approach this draft, which is something I like to see. But we're still waiting to see what's the other lock in here for A&M Maroon. And if you see the soul, I think at this point you probably want to grab your solo, or but no, they're gonna go ahead and double down and say, hey, it's on her soul again.
I mean, just free pressure in both those lanes now. I mean, the mid soul and the ADC on her just had infinite amounts of pressure last time around. I mean, what does O Jammin pick that's easy? He's going to be able to like combat this on her. I'm not so sure. I think at some point you might just have to say heck the laning phase and really focus on that mid to late game. But if you can ever get there, at what point do you need to be like, hey, what can we do? Maybe pick something that just kind of fast clears the wave from a distance, like a Marty, maybe? I know I'm kind of stretching, but I'm really thinking of like, hey, what can they do to really combat the play style that A&M had last game?
The only thing I can think is Oleron's still available, and I don't think he's great into
Yeah.
on her,
He's not. He's
but
gonna he's gonna have a really rough time.
he does have a really good team fight that they could play off of. It's going to slow that soul down and things like that. But I mean, I just think it's a tough time when you see Soul on her on the enemy side because Oleron is going to get ran at even in his ultimate because on her just ults him down. And now I'm sitting here and I'm just like, man, if I knew on her's picked, what am I playing?
Ye-
Especially into this Soul, I think is the bigger issue here.
Wow.
It is going to be an Oleron Yamoja lock in though.
So I do like that combo quite a bit. I do like
Mm-hmm.
the Yemo Olo combo of like the big, huge, massive ultimates that cover over half the lane.
Yep.
I don't like Oleron into the on her. I think he's gonna really struggle. However, is Chubby Ostrich gonna potentially pilot this Oleron in mid? Could be a potential as the Shiva's locked in as well. This
And
Oleron is not gonna have a good time.
that's how I was gonna say. I think if you're gonna pick the Oleron here, it has to go mid. I think it fits better there against the Soul than it does against the On Her. But now that Shiva's locked in, Shiva could go three places, most likely going support or solo, but could flex to jungle. I don't think he's very good there right now, but we'll have to see. The Lancelot banned away yet again here. For those that don't know, Lancelot's good ever since they fixed his MP5 problem.
Yeah, I mean he's a solid pick now. I think he's also really good into the Yola run as well.
Yep.
That big massive CC moon ult that's really good at diving him. And so surprised that A&M elect to ban that one away as the Hades ban. Very surprising considering Shiva's on the table. I'd be shocked if the Shiva went to any other role but solo. So I'm not entirely sure. I mean, this tells me that maybe St. Ambrose have this idea of where the Shiva is going compared to us. Because personally, I think that's an easy lock solo. So to ban away a Hades tells me maybe it's not so much an easy lock solo lane pick.
I've seen Shiva show up in support a good bit, and it works out pretty well. Gives some nice pressure over there, and especially with an on her, it could be devastating. So they are, but then they ban away the Ganesha, so they're not
Yeah.
so sure. But they know they don't want to deal with the space control that Ganesha provided last game.
Oh,
And A&M Maroon says, "Okay, cool, we'll just take a Maui then."
yeah. Another one of those picks that really does well into Oleron as well as Yamoja. I mean, able to get over that wall is a really big deal. And so Maui can really impact in both ways of pulling people out of that ultimate as well as making sure he himself can get alt, as well as throwing the two in there. That two that provides carries with so much safety. He just throws it in the Yemo alt, and someone can use it to hop on out of there, which would be quite nice. As we do see some more bans come through, Sasano off the table, so an assassin pick still in the cards for St. Ambrose. They're really going to think about it here. I mean, I would still personally like to see the Oleron go to mid lane, maybe get OJam and something else that can provide some pressure. And it's a rat hover for Rush and a Scylla hover for Chubby Ostrich. I don't know how I'm feeling about these two picks.
So I will say I've been playing Scylla ADC lately. But I don't think there's any other
God,
ADCs
please
toying
no.
around with that idea. Okay, I just don't think it's a thing. We do see the Scylla and Thanatos lock in. Thanatos could be good here. I mean, you get those low health bars going, and you start doing
Yeah,
the feast or famine thing. It could really pop off. But I think Maroon's comp is pretty scary for a Thanatos.
yeah. I'm also not a big fan of the Scylla Thanatos combination. Scylla doesn't have an execute, but she basically can execute people just
Yeah.
by how much damage she has. And do you really want like these two people kind of going for like the same target? Like maybe you just have Chubby Ostrich have all that damage to whittle someone down, and you have Rush clean up a target. But I feel like this mid 2v2 is gonna really struggle. I mean, maybe he's just there to get the Scylla to late and be like, hey, Scylla late game will carry. Scylla, by the way, is actually pretty solid into what say A&M Maroon have as a composition.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. I think she can really thrive against this composition, especially against like the double auto attackers where she can just throw stuff over the wall while they have to be like line of sight on a target. But I'm
I
not a
like the
fan of the
Scylla pick.
Thana. I do as
I like
well.
this. Yeah, I like the Scylla pick. Thana, I'm iffy about. He's so feast or famine. Like where if he doesn't get going early, it feels like he bogs down your team. So that's the one thing I'm worried about here. But on the other side, we see Wavy lock in the Robin.
Yeah, which is just gonna run at this Thanatos, I think, most of
Yeah,
this game.
curious to see
Yeah,
if you guys says a little bit more bruiser than let me delete you. We'll have to see how that goes. That's the way I like to play Robin. I like to go a little bit more tanky, especially in this comp where you have these double auto attackers. Really playing protect the backline sometimes works out really, really well.
I can. I don't mind the Ravon. I mean, I quite like the Ravana pick here because I mean, it's just like so much get out of jail free card
Yeah,
potential for a character like that, and with how much damage I think St. Ambrose have, it's a really good idea. It's really good against the Oleron as well. Like all these characters are good against Oleron except maybe Soul. Soul is the one character who you're here who might struggle against the Oleron. And I think that's okay because you have four other targets that can deal with him pretty well. So Jamin, I don't think it's gonna have a fun time this game.
No, I think it's gonna be rough. I mean, like you said, you have to worry about that, but overall, I think it's okay. Before we head into game number two, I do have to remind everybody that AGL has weekly tournaments. And if you're thinking about them as much as you think about the Roman Empire and its glorious aqueducts and army formations, perhaps the marvel of self healing concrete, come on down and pretend you're a gladiator in the Colosseum in a 1v1 duel tournament this Saturday, the 28th, or go out to Roman Conquest on your own 5v5 draft conquest tournament on Sunday, the 29th. You can find those signups and check-ins over in the AGL Discord, and they happen at 4:50 p.m. each day.
I I was not mentally ready. I was not mentally ready for that Roman Empire joke. Oh my god. That is
I'm not gonna
fantastic.
lie. I really was just gonna bait you and be like, "Hey, what are your thoughts about the Roman Empire?"
I would have
But
told you straight up. I don't ever think about the Roman Empire. Not a fan of the Roman Empire as we do get into our game, and I'll tell you who's not thinking about the Roman Empire right now. It's St Ambrose. They're focused on this game and this game only, as they need to get back into this best of three set with a win here in this game.
yeah, I'm excited to see how this goes here. Hopefully, they have a little bit of a better time early on, and I do think this comp might work out better early on into the game,
Yeah.
as long as they can keep the on her from scaling, because that was really the problem. Game number one is on her being level 10 at like 9 minutes.
Yeah, I will say the Yemoja does a much better job of kind of keeping Ojamin in this game, I think, compared to the Ganesh that Illicit was piloting last game. And so I think Yemo will do good work to gain him pressure as Zami solos out Super Death
Ooh.
Fang in the right-hand side. That's just, I mean, Zami had a great game one as
Yeah.
Ojamin pushes out Control Alt D, who's stepping forward into some auto attacks. A little spooky for him.
The question really is here for you is, what do you think about Soul of Blue Bluff as Wavy gets aggressive here, chases down Chubby and Russology? They'll have to walk away. And that should be the it of that fight. I mean, there'll be a little bit of poke here at the waves, but I don't think we'll get much else. But Soul with Blue Bluff, how you feeling about it?
I mean, Deathfang just got soloed. Did Death grab something else? I feel like we're missing something here.
I think Freezing accidentally grabbed Blue.
Yeah, but I believe the speed buff is still available on that right
Oh,
hand
100%.
side.
100% it is.
So what are we missing here?
There wasn't enough mana. I don't know.
Did Death have red? Did Death have red and we
Maybe.
missed it?
That would have been funny. I didn't get to catch it. We do have a little bit of fight, a little skirmish here over in the duo, if you will. And Ojamin and Illicit Slee are in trouble as Wavy makes the way over and puts down the Oleron in a great impale, but just can't finish the kill. His Control Alt Delete on her. Russology now making the rotation over on the Thanatos. I think it's a little too late, and they're fighting over the shield buff. Is able to steal it away, but nothing else will come of that. The good news is everybody cooked this game.
That is a good sign. I mean, Super Death Fang and Freezing Fantasy learn from their mistakes this time around. Gooseberries for the soul.
We have way more kills than we did at this point in the game.
Well, that's true. What was it? 15 minutes in, we had a fire giant, and it was 3-2 or something like that.
It was 2-1.
So we're
kills on the board.
We're halfway. We're over halfway there already at 3 minutes in. Good showings here so far.
And I do have to say, so far, Ojamin's actually not having a terrible time. And yes, has taken a fall, but does have the little bit of an XP lead over in the dual lane on this Oleron. So it's not going terrible just yet. The bleeding we saw early on in the game number one is not happening right now for St Ambrose. So that is a good sign for this game.
Yeah, I think the bleeding, if it is going to happen this game, it's going to come from the mid lane. Freezing Fantasy on this soul yet again. It's going to be able to pressure out Chubby Ostrich. We saw it not too long ago. He's farming this left-hand side right now, but not too long ago, he was just pushed up in that mid lane, sitting on the tier 1 of Chubby Ostrich, just being like, I dare you to step forward towards me. I know your jungler's not here. What are you going to do? You're just an early game Scylla. And that is going to be Chubby Ostrich's issue in this early game, is the Scylla is not good in the early game, very good in the late. So has to get there first overall. It's going to really struggle, I think, if A&M Maroon just continue to step on the gas the way they did in that game one.
Rushology just walking in. Oh, they're looking for more.
Oh.
Isn't able to hit the root is Chubby Ostrich. Freezing Fantasy will get to live to see another day. But Chubby Ostrich does have a slight XP lead here. And so that's something to keep an eye on. Rushology now rotating over to Duo that now Wavy is back. Then
Has
there's
ult.
no help for Control Delete if he decides to step up. There's no wards there. Control Delete looks at the 1v2, and Rushology's just going to walk away for now from the looks of it.
Yeah, I mean, Control Alt is pretty safe in this lane. The On Her has the CC immune ultimate and a jump available to him. There's no Wheelix in this game, so it's gonna be hard pressed to really lock down this On Her.
Yeah, I think the problem here is like you have to get On Her low, and then you have to commit to the dive because he's probably gonna be able to leap back to his tower. So that's things to keep an eye on here.
As we do get set. Yeah, Freezing is just going to keep pushing mid. I mean, just Soul things, as we mentioned last time around.
Yeah, but, you know, I didn't expect Soul to have tier 1 tower, like, halfway down at 5 minutes this game.
I did. That's just things Soul does. I mean, Freezing just kind of does things that, like... Freezing as a player overall, not the most impressive mechanically gifted player out there, but just solid and consistent, and he'll just kind of play these picks that really annoy you. I mean... Who's really doing Soul mid with Book of Thoth and then Gilded Arrow and then just pushing tower at 5 minutes to just pressure out the enemy mid laner? And now they're going to pressure on a Rush.
They're going to have to force out the ultimate.
Wow.
Gets out just in time. Woo. That could have been devastating.
Oh, no.
It's a TKO, but now, oh, nice root by Chubby Ostrich there. A little bit off the mark with the Riptide. And now it is a runaway for Maroon. How they didn't get hit by either of those Riptides is kind of insane.
I think they got hit by the initial first one. It's still damage going into Ferendum by Chubby Ostrich. And Chubby, I mean, he did some good damage there. I'm kind of surprised with how much Scylla was able to do this early on, but I mean, Scylla's kind of swinging, and once she scales, she's going to be able to one-shot a backliner if they're not too careful.
Yeah, she can just do a lot of damage. I remember I was playing a game a few weeks ago against a Scylla main in a scrim, and I got hit for bukus of damage, and I was like, how? Like, where did it come from? And we weren't even level 20 yet.
Ooh,
I was just like, oh, okay.
Rush on to Control. He's got no mana.
Oh, this is huge. They actually might be able to kill here. There's the beads. They're going to make use of this. Illicit Sleet's here. Rushology, hello.
No.
Oh, no. Falls down, and Sleet gets the kill on the Yamoja. Unfortunate.
I feel like if I analyze that play, it'll come across as BM. We're just going to move on from that. I mean, they get the kill at the end of the day. Unfortunately, it does go to Illicit Sleet as it's 7 minutes in, and the tier 1 tower in mid is in fact gone. Very unfortunate for St Ambrose. They're starting to let this early game lead and early game pressure really get to them. They're down around 1k as they're looking for the soul here. Freezing kind of steps forward. Rush is here yet again with that ultimate. They can look.
This could be an opportunity for them to pick up Freezing, but Rushology is right now on those Oracle Harpies for the time being. And we'll be able to, you know, get that XP, but then it's just going to drop back. Not going to go aggressive here. Meanwhile, Illicit and Chubby Ostrich are playing more aggressive. They're going to have to be careful of Wavy here. A nice little hook on the Sleet, and Wavy's rotating in from behind. I'm not sure they know. Now they do because he stops to take the wave. But that could have been a little scary. As now Rushology tries to go over to the speed buff, or sorry, shield
he's level
buff.
7.
Oh no. Is he able to go up?
Oh,
Can
hold
they
on.
get control delete? Oh, nice. They do get him low enough. Catch him on the jump down. And then there comes the ultimate for Ferendum, and Ojaman takes a fall. And that is a 2-for-1.
Yeah, I mean, Rush level 7 probably doesn't want to be taking those trades right now. I think he really needs to focus on farming, but ends up taking the fight. They get control yet again, but coming away with a 2-for-1, it's Ojaman who's really going to end up suffering a lot this game from not getting as much farm as he would have liked as an Ola run right now.
Yeah, and Freezing steps up there, and now Zamia just going crazy, eating a tower shot and just going after Super Death Fang. The solo lane is just a brawl. Probably just stacking free damage numbers, you know? We'd love to see it from solo.
there's no Discordia in the game, so why are they really fighting? You know, like let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like they're just stat padding at this point. There's no reason to.
Zamia does have a a nice little lead here. Does have 1 kill up on Super Deathfang. Was able to pick up that first blood early, but overall nothing too crazy happening. It's been a pretty standard game.
Surely it's just a tactical inch so that when Super Deathfang gets the solo kill back, he actually gets more gold for Zamia.
Yeah.
Zamia being worth more right now. I will say, and this does show a bit of St. Ambrose's lack of conviction to really go for this, because 4 people were just non-existent on this map. And they took their sweet time pulling up this Gold Fury. They start it now. I think it might be a little too late, but with Scylla, they could just do this.
Woo! I'm watching it come through. They are able to confirm it. It looked like it might go 50-50 there, but now Ferindum getting active. They're looking for Alyssa Sleep and Rushology. Wavy rotates in, gets good damage off. Here comes the death from above. Can they land it? It isn't going to come back down as of now. Alyssa Sleep able to get away for the time being. Landfall off the mark. And now it's A&M Maroon trying to run it down, but there's nothing to be found as of yet. Wait, Freezing Fantasy found Rushology at the speed buff and took him down. They do get 1 for their troubles.
Freezing could get caught here. Takes a ton of damage from Chubby, who knocks him down to half HP. Good showing there, but I mean, it costed 4 ults for the Gold Fury and to get out, and those are some pretty important cooldowns for St. Ambrose's left-hand side. Oh, Jammin getting dove. He falls down there to control, and A&M Maroon, they're starting to get a hold of this game despite St. Ambrose getting the Gold Fury there.
Yeah, you know what my least favorite thing about Ravana is?
He just kind of doesn't die.
Playing ADC on the enemy team when he can just dive your tier 1 and kill you. That's kind of my least favorite thing.
That's my second least favorite thing.
Control delete could be in a little trouble here. Beads and then jumps up down onto Rushology, at least in sleep. There's no way. There's no way. Chubby Ostrich makes the rotation over. They can't get him. Is able to take the port out to the Maui. Oh my goodness, the juke shoes are on. Surely they get him here. Rushology in the air, looking to come crashing down, but Freezing Fantasy has made the rotation over. There's the crash in, but Control Delete turns it around.
Okay.
Finally, they pick him up. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but they had to expend an extra ultimate there than what did they little liked have. Oh my goodness. I can't believe he lived that long.
How many St. Ambrose players does it take to hit a cooldown? I think is the question of all that. Took a hot second to really knock down Control Alt-Delete, and he lives for a hot minute, buys an eon of time. People are able to rotate in, so they have to trade Russian turn for Control. But I feel like that's kind of worth, as now Illicit could be the next target here. It's Fantasy.
Ostrich isn't in a great place either. And luckily, he's able to dash away there. But, I mean, it was a little bit questionable. They do pick up the beacon early here, and they do have a decent gold lead going at this point.
Yeah, I mean, 2K definitely nowhere close to what they had the game number 1. But I mean, I think that's what St. Ambrose have really adapted well in terms of getting a composition that can kind of fight a little early on compared to last game. But I mean, the lead is still not going their way. They're starting to let things get out of control. A&M Maroon, I mean, look at the jungle difference so far. Wavy's up 4 levels compared to Rushology right now. I mean, that's a huge gap in the junglers' level leads right now. You see Fantasy and Chubby are actually even, which is kind of surprising considering Freezing's already taken the tier 1. As Illicit, probably in a lot of trouble here.
No. Oh, nice plays by Zamia to try to bail him out. Can they is the question. There's the ultimate trying to get out. But a better ultimate by Ferindum pulls him back in. And Illicit Sleet should fall here. And finally does to Wavy. There's on the monster. Oh, Rushology comes crashing down. Picks up 1. Wavy has to leave the fight. This is turning the way of St. Ambrose. But wait, Control Delete has made the rotation in. He finds O'Jammin. Has to get the Aegis out in order to save their life. Jumps out. Can Control Delete put on the juke shoes yet again and get out? Chubby Ostrich picks up a kill on Ferindum. And this is going St. Ambrose's way. Control Delete can't live for long, but happens to pick up Rushology before falling to Zamia. Woo! What a fight. Chubby Ostrich with the double kill, picking up Freezing at the end of it just with a little bit of health. What a play.
I mean, Chubby Ostrich, he makes all of that happen with how much damage he has, hits multiple targets, and then that little discredit to A&M with how much they're stacking up against this Scylla. I mean, he's getting multiple two-man roots, you know, some good crushes in there as Jammin is taking this fight. Deathfang has a lot of damage here. Is going to use that ultimate as well, and still looking for Jammin. Oh, no.
Wavy jumps in and puts him down. Oh, Jammin on the way back to the gray screen, unfortunately. Wavy shows up and does what Wavy does on the Ravana. And that's dive carries.
Yeah, a little also discredit to Rushology yet again. I mean, kind of blinks in to really look for control when I don't think he really needed to. I think Jammin and Zamia had that kill there, locked down tight. Rush just kind of blinks in, looks to make it happen with the scythe, and ends up trading himself. And he needs to be on top of his farm right now. He's down at least 3 levels. He's kind of lowered it a little bit by 1. As Chubby is still looking for more, as he should be. This Scylla is swinging 15 minutes into the game.
And this is what A&M Maroon did last game. They got the Pyro, and then they went directly over to the next Fury. This happens to be Oni Fury, which is going to feel pretty good. But
I think it's
Wavy
free.
and Super Deathfang are doing a great job zoning.
Hold on.
Illicit steps up. Woo! Maroon's able to confirm it, but man, was it close. Rushology's up in the air. They're looking for the Maui. The Maui swings around, baits Rushology, picks him up, but the I'm the Monster comes through. Looks like it might have been a little bit off the mark.
Hold on.
Confirm some damage now, but look at this. Jammin's running up. Big numbers coming out here. This is trouble for A&M Maroon. They have to be able to get out here. If they step up at all, it could turn on top of its head. Control Delete decides to run it down. Illicit Sleets over the wall, is able to be riptide away. St Ambrose back off for now, but man, I think they could have taken a fight or gone for the tier 1 if they wanted to.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised with how much Rushology just hung around in the air. I know the execute looks nice and juicy there. You need to get a kill there on somebody, and Ferendum looked like the perfect target. But I think at that point, if Ferendum's just going to hang out in the air, maybe you just look for a different target and try and burst down a carry at that point. It's just the support 16 minutes in. He's got the auras, sure, but he's in the air. Focus someone else down. Chubby has the damage to one-shot a backliner at this point. If you're providing them with a stun, oh no.
Blake, boom, goes the dynamite. Wavy's on a rampage, running down anybody that wants to step up and even look at him with a side eye on St Ambrose.
Yeah, very unfortunate for Rush. Down 4 levels yet again. That 1 level sort of bite back is just immediately erased. And so Rush is really going to struggle this game. You know, at this point, 1-7 on the Thanatos. It has not worked out. The early game jungle, you know, monster that you expected of a Thanatos has not worked out. And he was really there to kind of get the Scylla through the early game. Honestly, Sleet has kind of done a much better job of getting the Scylla through the early game compared to the Thanatos. And so Chubby has to be the difference maker going into these mid to late game team fights. He's done a good job so far. Can he continue to perform? And can he continue to hit these multi-man roots and crushes and the big ultimates that'll one-shot someone come late game?
Control Delete's playing so confidently, was standing up at the enemy speed buff. And that is mind-boggling to me. Oh, great root by Chubby Ostrich.
That's Aegis.
In the damage, and this could be big.
Where's the YOLO ult?
Looking for Freezy, but Control Delete jumps over and looks for more. There's the landfall. It picks up Jammin, and they're going to be able to pull the Oleron back.
The sky.
Make sure that they can't do anything. The monster's there, but it doesn't get anything. Rushology crashes in, picks up Freezing Fantasy, and that is what St Ambrose wanted to see. There is Control Delete trying to get away. Beads, almost a full up down there, is able to luckily get over the wall. Gets the slow on the 3, but this is a scary time. Zamia teleporting in from behind. This could go very, very badly for A&M Maroon if they stick around. But no, the ship was there, running it down. Chubby Ostrich picks up Wavy. That's going to be huge. That's a great shutdown. It's something they needed to happen. But Super Deathbag is running it down, looking for Rushology. Jammin picks up Ferendum on the backside. But Super Deathbag is able to confirm Rushology. They can't get the CC onto the ship as of yet. There it is. Can they confirm the damage? Can they get what they want? The body blocks are good, but they need more damage. Chubby Ostrich is too far away. And then the solo gets out. What a great play there by Super Deathfang to pick up a kill and able to get away. But St Ambrose just stepping up and really putting together a great team fight there. Oh my god! Sign him a check, get him on a team! Holy Chubby Ostrich, root and just takes out 2, says, you want to step up? Let you find out. Wow.
Chubby Ostrich finds the 2-man route onto both carries, and now suddenly A&M Maroon, Gold Fury is about to respawn. St Ambrose can turn their attention towards some of these objectives that have just come back up. Pyromancer as well. Fire Giant could potentially be in the cards with how you can secure with Scylla, but I think the first one has to be this Gold Fury. Maybe you convert with a Pyromancer, but the way A&M Maroon are playing for this Pyro, likely just gonna be a objective for objective trade here.
I cannot stress how important it is not to group up.
Yeah.
When
against
Scylla can root you. Like, oh my god, dude.
It was just a step forward as well from one of them. I think it was Alt who kind of stepped a little too far forward, gets caught by the root, freezing Fantasy too close to the on her, and gets rooted as well. And I mean, Chubby Ostrich has just been on point with these combos. If he throws out a root, he's throwing out that crush on top. At the very least, he's getting some damage off potentially. And if he hits those combos like that and continues to hit combos like that, it's going to keep pumping out the damage. If we could take a look at the damage charts real quick, I am curious where this Scylla is sitting.
Yeah.
And yes, it is top of the damage at 20 minutes into this game with 22k. Fairly impressive for a Scylla who still hasn't hit level 20 just yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to feel pretty good here. 5-0-3. And meanwhile, your solo, Zombie has 2-0-3. They're playing really, really well. Yes, the gold leads in favor of Maroon, but those are some great fights put together by Ambrose here, where it has to start making you think maybe they figured out the key to the team fight to maybe turn this around.
I mean, the key to the team fight has just been, I mean, as we talked about in the pregame, kind of Chubby Ostrich in comparison to these line of sight characters like On Her and Soul, who are AA based characters. Scylla can throw abilities over the wall. She can throw her ultimate over the wall. She can dash over walls. She's a very mobile character in terms of how she can move around the map. She's got movement speed in the ultimate, and so it's kind of been hard to lock her down. I mean, we saw Chubby Ostrich dash in there aggressively, just throw the crush on top of himself, and knocks down, I believe it was Wavy in that moment. And so Chubby Ostrich has done a phenomenal job, as so far it's A&M Maroon who are going to aggress here onto this tier 2 tower.
And they get an ultimate out of it. This is actually good for A&M Maroon. They might be able to, you know, do something with that. Right now, they're backing off. They're trying to get him away from that tower. Wavy is positioned in the jungle looking for more, but Rushology's even further out on the left side looking for a great flank here. About to see how that pans out, as this team fight surely will happen soon. It looks like they're trying to see, can they get a pick or two and then start looking for a Fire Giant. Super Death Thing goes in, and that's basically all they're going to get out of that for that. Looks like A&M Maroon are trying to see, can they group up? Can they get a landfall that connects and pull multiple targets is the question. But Chubby Ostrich does not care. Root crush combo onto Super Death Fang, and it's a good bit of damage onto the Shiva there. And the dance continues.
This is where the sustain from the Olo and Yamoja is going to start to come into play too. The crush is just going to do so much work against A&M Maroon, but they don't have the sustain like they did last game with the Yamoja. It's Illicit who's piloting it this time around, and with an Olo on top as well. They're kind of able to take these long engagements and just poke. And anytime we're trading damage, it's really goes in our favor because we can back up and just heal back up. So St Ambrose, they want to be taking these long fights. They want to be taking the poke wars. And as they continue to do so, they'll come out on top. The only difference is Freezing Fantasy once again going for this lifesteal build. Just so much healing in the kit, and it doesn't seem like anyone is building towards anti-heal aside from Chubby Ostrich thus far.
Yeah, and this is one of those things where anti-heal goes a long way. And I think a lot of times it gets slept on. But in this case, you look at the soul and you need it. And now just Illicit Sleet stepped up too far and immediately deleted there by Control, Delete, and company. But look where Wavy is. Wavy is behind.
Yeah, this is a
waiting
bait
for Chubby Ostrich to go ahead and step up too far. And they pull Fire Giant. Nice little bait there. But there is the Root Crush. And now Chubby Ostrich is in trouble. There's the Aegis. Can the Chubby Ostrich get out? The answer is no. Wavy finally able to catch him, but Rushology dives into the other side of this fight, gets put down immediately by Freezing Fantasy, and now Zamia looking to see, hey, is there a way for me to go back in? Ojaman has to fully back, and it's going to be a Fire Giant. This time, the first one's going to fall at around 25 minutes for Maroon.
Yeah, I mean, just a quick and easy pick off the hook from Ferendum. And it's A&M Maroon back in the driver's seat for this game. Fire Giant, a little later than about 10 minutes later compared to last game when it was a 15-minute Fire Giant, the first Fire Giant of the game. Gold Fury also available, as is Pyromancer. So there's a lot of farm on the map for A&M Maroon to take and really extend this gold lead that they've just started to build for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming we're going to see a tier
Oh.
2, and they're going to go for a Phoenix in mid. Ojaman's not there yet, so right now, it's 5 members with a Titan for Maroon, and they really could go either way here. They could try to split off, and they frenzy instead, and now it's the River's Rebuke trying to hold them in. That's a fantastic ultimate, but Wavy picks up Rushology yet again. The mid-bird's gone, but so is A&M Maroon's Titan, but the landfall connects and pulls back in Zomnia. They're looking for a kill. Wavy gets aggressive onto the carries of St Ambrose, and now Ostrich looking to see, can I get a I'm a monster onto somebody? The answer is no. Maroon walk away for the time being. They're heading left, looking for a tier 2. Oh my god, for control, E jumps over the wall. It says, hey, saw the door open, knock, knock. It's not her.
Yeah, nearly able to get that one. Once again, just getting away with plays where he's jumping forward in first and able to live off of that, question mark. Kind of a big surprise there, as we do see them back off A&M Maroon. They get the mid Phoenix, sure. They're going to back off and go towards this Gold Fury and just continue to extend their lead. There's some final items and starters that need to be upgraded for themselves. And with this Fire Giant, I think they'll be able to just immediately run back from base to this left-hand side and maybe look to siege this left-hand side Phoenix. I mean, Rush just has not been on it today, man. He is 2-10-5. He has been arguably, no, actually, it's not even arguably. He has been feeding this game. It has just been a target prioritization from A&M Maroon. They have constantly picked this Thanatos over and over and over again. Rush has really struggled this game. Struggled to find farm, struggled to find kills. This Thanatos has not worked out in his favor.
Yeah, I mean, they've done a good job of baiting out his ultimate, waiting for him to crash down onto a target, and then just fully committing to killing him. They've really done a good job. Like, he dove 3 that last fight, and they're like, cool. Now the other 2, make sure you CC him, and then he dies. They've really played well around this Thanatos, making sure that you can't get the executes off, that if you're going to come in, we're going to make you pay. But now Rushology spotted out yet again, and now Control E getting aggressive here. Does the ult, gets good damage off onto him. Look at this. Super Deathfang teleported in. Oh, no. Luckily, able to channel the ult and get out. But, man, that was a great play there to force out the ultimate by Maroon. And now Rushology really has no way in. His Blink's gone. His ult's gone. It's really going to take a good CC.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Super Deathfang Feridium with a crazy play there. Gets the great ultimate, pulls targets back in. Illicit Sleet's gone. And there goes Rushology. Zamia is the only one up. And all 5 members of Maroon are in the Titan room looking to take down the Titan and take game number 2 off of St Ambrose. And that's a decided triple kill for Super Deathfang. GG's, say A&M Maroon.
They do a fantastic job on that siege. Ferendum with the 2-man pull onto both carries. Both of them beads a little, or sorry, I guess the Oleron beads a little too late. The Scylla didn't have beads at all. Both get pulled, and it's just an immediate fight loss there for St Ambrose. They get wiped, and it's A&M Maroon walking away with the 2-0. Pretty clean and easy games, I should say, overall.
Yeah, I mean, that game was pretty clean. A little bit quicker than game number 1. Super Deathfang really needs to learn how to play some wards for the love of everything. 1 ward that game. Freezing Fantasy with 3, so, you know, it'd be like that sometimes.
Well, it just goes to show you, ladies and gentlemen, wards do not, in fact, win you games. They're just kind of there, having a good time, be a part of the game. I mean, a lot of credit to A&M. I think this idea with this soul mid and then a jungler that can really run and pace make for the team has been a great look for them, both game 1 and 2. I mean, they just get so much done. The towers being taken very early on really opens up the map and opens up the potential to rotate to side lanes pretty early on. I do think the fact that both mids for uh St. Ambrose, excuse me, I just lost it for a second there, have been low pressure mids, and so it's been very hard to really fight back against the Soul. And I mean, St. Ambrose, they just kind of don't, they aren't able to compete the same way that A&M Maroon did, I think.
A&M looked really, really good. Shouts to Chubby Ostrich, though. Some sick plays
Oh
on the
yeah.
Scylla that game. Absolutely insane. But before we head out of here tonight, I do want to remind everybody that this season of Smite is brought to you by Albion Giants in cooperation with the National Esports Collegiate Conference. And this is our second season doing this. So we've teamed up to provide the best competition Collegiate Smite has to offer. If you're interested in joining in future seasons or curious in other ways that you can get involved, reach out to Majin, April, Nuke. You can always shoot me in a DM. I'll get in contact with the right people for you. But we appreciate y'all coming out, and shout outs to A&M for this victory in week 3. Now going to 2-1.
Yeah,